Discovery video 191. We're at Hollywood Park for a claiming 25,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime. That little condition there makes it a 5-star preferred race. Let's take a look at those, listing of those here on the Horse Racing Digest page. We're going to click on Discovery video button. And then under the big red arrow is my listing of those preferred races. And I've got them rated from 1 to 5 stars, 5 being the strongest. And basically what these are a set of conditions that my 17 years of research has shown me I've got better than average chance on getting that value odds winner at a nice price or an overlay. All claiming races with a condition. You'll see CLM, the claiming price, and either a combination of numbers and letters or sometimes just a letter. But anything to the right, and as you can see there, those strongest 5 stars. As you can see here, we have the non-winners of 2 lifetime condition. You don't get anything stronger than a 5-star preferred race. You don't get anything stronger than a top pick value odds horse in such race. Number 1, Warren's Veneta Lucy. Got a lot going on as far as icons are concerned. That's an awful lot of purple boxes I see there, and some interesting icons. But what's going to make my decision on whether to bet this horse or not? Is it going to be the icons? No, of course not. What is it going to be? What is the most important thing? Did you say odds near post time? Here's how they look near post. The value odds horse, Warren's Veneta Lucy, 15 to 1. Totally dismissed. The 6 horse was 2 to 1, the 5 was 4 to 1, and the 2 was 3 to 1. So as you can see here, the other 3 horses ranked below her in Group A got all the money. But the betting public, most of whom did not have the benefit of looking at this report, was not on this horse at all. As a matter of fact, she was 15 to 1 morning line, so the odds maker had no respect. We rated her at 2 to 1 odds, true odds. Now that I know that I'm going to make a bet on this horse, and this is what told me right here, the odds near post time, I've got to have the neighborhood of 10 to 1 or higher. I say in the neighborhood. If she was the top picking like if she is here and she was 9 to 1 or 8 to 1, I'd probably go ahead if she was the only value odds horse in the race. But absolutely at 15 to 1, I mean that's like that's a given right there. Now, what I like to do next is I like to read the story of the horse. What is this report telling me? This report is telling me, first of all, the yellow and blue pace icon signifies she has an early and middle pace advantage. It doesn't mean she has a need to lead type of speed, but as far as pace rate, our pace ratings are concerned, she has the best early and mid. And that's we combine that into one icon. Total pace, here she has the best total pace rating. That takes into consideration the middle and late stages of the race. So obviously if a horse has got an advantage early and middle late, guess what? That's a pretty good advantage. And then the pace trifecta is made whenever you have a horse that has an advantage in 3 different categories. As you can see here, I've highlighted the turn time rating of a 98. She's got the best turn time rating of the field, making it a pace trifecta. Now, some other interesting things here. To note that the value odds icon in combination with these 3 icons is from angle 10 of the, here on the free page, my first book, the 36 Proven Winning Overlay Angles, that you can view for free. And these angles still work like gold decades later. I blew right by angle 10. The value odds angle. here's the important part. There are 5 certain other icons that, when listed on a value odds horse, have proven to be very potent. Pace, final time, par, late pace, total pace. She's got 3 of those 5. Therefore, very, very potent. Okay? As you can see here, I highlighted her pace advantages here. You notice her run style, that is an indication she could be any kind of runner. Whenever you have an EP or a P with a low number, like this one's an EP2, she's got tactical speed. Basically, she can be almost anywhere the jock wants to put her. So if you got a smart jock, and he maybe rode a couple races that day or paid attention to to the previous race, maybe he knows a little something about the track, how the track might be playing. And basically, the only people that know track bias are the jockeys. There's no way for handicappers to know the track bias, because unless you got a jockey down there shooting hand signals at you, okay, like gang signs telling you what the track bias, nobody knows the track bias except for the jockeys. By the time that information reaches the handicappers, guess what? It's useless, because the track bias has already changed. However, if the jock knows, he would be the only one to know. He'll have the benefit, as long as he's been told by the trainer, give her the ride you think she needs. As long as the trainer doesn't have specific, or maybe the trainer does have specific instructions. Maybe the trainer, well, the trainers too also, I should say, not only jockeys, but trainers also have a handle on track bias, because they were out there in the morning of that particular day, and this is race 2 at Hollywood. So I mean, maybe they were out there in the morning and they might have noticed something about the track. That doesn't necessarily mean the afternoon would be exactly the same, but I mean, they may have just noticed something about the track. Trainers and jockeys are really the only ones who have any kind of knowledge of track bias that would be any use to anybody. Like I said, by the time it reaches the handicapper or the horse player, unless you have a jockey or a trainer on your payroll that's calling you up or giving you hand signals about it, you're not going to know about it until it's worthless. That's why I don't pay much attention to track bias. But basically what I'm saying is an EP2 can be any type of runner. Can press the pace. It's not an E horse, so it's not a need to lead type. EP means, basically sitting off the pace as far back as the jock wants to be. Also, she has tied for the top with the 6 for the best RE class rating, which is a predictive factor. Okay? RE is a predicting type of factor, predicting that today's class that she will show. Now, why did the betting public let her go at 15-1? Very easy. She's coming off of 2 turf races, one of them not bad. Switching to the all-weather surface, in which she ran 3 starts ago and finished dead last. This is what the handicappers did. They said, she's switching from the dirt, and they don't like that, first of all. They don't like horses switching surfaces. I, on the other hand, love a horse switching surfaces, switching tracks. As long as it's a switch, there's definitely signifies there could be an improvement. Okay? Then they judge her on that one start in which she finished last. Okay, think like a trainer. Your horse finishes last at Hollywood. You put her on the turf, she runs a nice 3rd. You put her on the turf again, she runs 6th. Okay? Wouldn't you think if he thought she was more of a turf horse that he would bring her back to the turf? Wouldn't that make sense? She did run a decent race on the turf. Why is he bringing her back to the main track? Do you understand the thinking here? See, this is the kind of stuff that horse players and handicappers don't think about. They just look and say, well, she did run a good turf race, but today is on the cushioned surface in which she finished last 3 starts back. She ain't going to do nothing here. That's why they let her go at 15-1. I see it totally differently. I see it where, she may have needed that 3rd race back, I don't know, but she was put on the turf and ran a decent race and is now brought back to the main track. That means the trainer must feel, basically, I think what the trainer did here was put her on the turf for conditioning purposes. She doesn't exactly have turf pedigree, so he might have thrown her on there and just to get her legged up. That's what I call getting them legged up on the turf, and the trainer bringing her back to the main track here. That to me, that whole line there signifies the trainer's expecting a big improvement, whereas the betting public looked at that and said she can't run on the main track. She belongs on the turf. Well, if she belonged on the turf, now who knows better for the horse? The trainer or the horse player? Who knows better as far as what would be beneficial for each horse? That trainer of that horse or the horse player? I'm pretty sure the trainer of the horse is going to know a lot more about what's going to be beneficial to the horse than the horse player. Obviously, the trainer's hands-on. The trainer knows what he has. Okay? The trainer's got history with the horse. The trainer knows everything about the horse. We, on the other hand, we only are able to read pieces of data of information. But see, you have to think like a trainer. I've said this so many times. Think like a trainer. And when I see a horse that finishes in the money on the turf and is brought back to the main track, that tells me, because ask the question, why is this trainer not putting her, well, maybe there's no, okay, here's an answer. Maybe there's no turf races in her class. Good excuse, but I'm pretty sure if he looked hard enough at the condition book, he could find some kind of race he could put her in. But I think that he actually thought that the turf racing would leg her up, because look, you can't finish any worse than last in a 7-horse field. There's nowhere to go but up from here. Why not put her on the turf? Maybe she'll become a turf superstar. If not, at the very least, it'll get her conditioning level up. Some trainers run their horses in races to get them ready and in shape, in fitness, where other trainers primarily use workouts. California is a very big workout racing circuit. The horse players pay attention to workouts. They even have total books about the workouts. I mean, these people are fanatics about workouts. So you take a trainer who's not so big on workouts, he's more like the type of an East Coast trainer who would rather run his horses into condition and then place them in a spot where they think they can win after giving them some races, let's say on a different surface or a different distance. And speaking of distance, this is a very tricky distance, and I think this threw a lot of players off. You can't get any trickier than 7.5 furlongs. There's not a distance in this game that's any trickier than 7.5 furlongs. Is it a sprint? Is it a route? You know, the players really have at a loss as what to do with this tricky distance. They don't card very often. So, I mean, that also helped create some confusion. However, they had no problem sending the money in on the 6, 5, and 2. Okay? But like I said, unless you're reading this report and reading the story the report is telling you, you wouldn't have had that benefit. So, that's where we were at an advantage here. So, let's go ahead and put the bet together. We're now at stage 2, which is the proven wagering strategies. My strategies are very simple. They work. They're proven over decades. Always put the win bet first, even if you're going to play something else. Always make the win bet your first bet, and then, if you have bankroll, do something else to add to it. But for the videos, I go $14 to win. Your bet could be more or less depending on your bankroll. But some players only bet to win, and that's fine. It's a good conservative approach if you're looking to build your bankroll. The next thing I do after my win bet is I like to wheel the exacta. So I'll do a $2 exacta, 1 all. Now, daily doubles I like to wheel. We got rolling doubles here. So I would obviously look ahead from the first race to the second race and see that the second race is Yeah, it's a 5-star race. Top pick value odds horse, lone value odds horse of the race. Absolutely got to get the wheel coming in and going out. So it'd be an all-one daily double and a one-all daily double. Okay, now at this point, if my horse wins, I'm guaranteed the daily doubles, the exacta, and my win bet. For those that have bankroll trifecta, the strategy is as follows. 1 on top all by herself. Second position, we're going to put the 6-5-2-4. That represents the rest of Group A and the top horse in Group B. For third, we're going to go all 10-cent super, all for fourth. Now remember, I said that with this run style, she could be any type. Okay? Whatever the jock or the trainer thinks would be most beneficial for her in this race. And apparently, either Iggy Puglisi or the trainer thought coming from off the pace would have been... So maybe the trainer and or jockey and or both came to an agreement the track was a little slow or favored closers. And so since she had the run style that she could be any type of runner, that was the game plan, apparently. Came from off the pace, got up in a perfectly timed ride. Okay, you can't get any more perfectly timed than that. But the way that she went from last at the second call and then moved up quickly. You see here that what you're looking at is turn time from that second call to the stretch call. See where she made up all that when she went from 7th to 2nd. Remember, she had the best turn time rating. Turn time rating is speed around the turn, the final turn. Not every horse can accelerate around those turns. She had the best rating in that category. And that's exactly what won her the race. That plus the total pace won her the race. Final odds just over 17-1. 36.40 on the Win Mutual. Beating the favorite in the race. Who, interesting enough, was up on the lead. So maybe the trainer, and here's the other horse that was up on the lead, finished down here. Now maybe the trainer and the jock knew a little something about the track. You got to put it in their hands because they're the only ones that know. Okay. All right. The win bet returned $254.80. The exacta, excuse me, $154.40 for $2. The trifecta paid $311.80. For $1. 10 cents super return, $80.11 on a dime. 2 daily doubles. $57.80 and $330.20. That one paid good. $11.89.11. So that's why I titled this "The Pace Trifecta Works Like Magic." Now the third step, stage 3, your bankroll management. Whatever your bankroll is for horse racing is money you set aside for horse racing only. I suggest you bet a maximum of 1% of your bankroll per race that you partake in. And the reason I say that is because that will almost pretty much guarantee that you never blow your bankroll. Notice the trends, spot the trends. There's trends in racing when you'll see a run of favorites and then you'll see a run of long ones, and then sometimes just a spattering of both. But you know, wait for good spots. You know, this is like one of the best spots you can look for. But you know, keep your bankroll at 1%. And especially if you're trying to build your bankroll. And if that means a $2 win bet at this point, if you're building a bank, then let it be. You know, because if you try to force the bets, it's just not, the game is not made that way. The game is just too many factors involved to try to force a bet, to try to make a bet where there isn't one. I always say, let them come to you. Let the let the plays jump off the page at you. Okay, instead of staring at a race for 3 hours, waiting for something, and then finally, it just doesn't work that way. And using the bankroll management, you have to manage your money. I mean, you don't have to use the 1% rule. That's my suggestion. But you have to have some kind of plan for money management. If you just don't have a plan for your money, you're not going to make a long-term profit. You have to plan your money. It's just like anything else in life. If you don't plan your money, you're not going to be on the right side of things. So, and that's why I call it a three-pronged attack as far as this game is concerned. Long-term profit. You have your handicapping, which is basically you learning to read the story of the report, noticing odds near post time being your #1 factor of whether to make a bet or not. Reading the story the report's telling you. Stage 2, the proven wagering strategies. And stage 3 is bankroll management. If you pay attention to all three, okay, you will make a long-term profit at the end of the year. If you are not using all three facets, it's like taking a wheel off a car, or you can't drive a car on 3 wheels. Well, maybe you can, but you're not going to get far. I don't think you're going to get too far, are you? Unless you got some guy on the one side holding it up and he's running down the street with you. You understand that's silly, right? Because that's like taking bankroll management out of the picture. But yet 80 to 90% of the players don't use bankroll management. You're just making your job a lot harder if you don't. Then there's a lot of them don't have a proven wagering strategy. So take 2 wheels off the car. Now, unless you've got the world's strongest man pulling you up front, that car's not going anywhere. Okay? So it's got to be a 3-pronged attack. And if you do that, if you do apply the 3 elements, I guarantee you with these reports you can make a long-term profit at the end of the year. But you have to be consistent, and you have to know, you have to be able to read the reports. Now, as far as that's concerned, the free area right here, the Horse Racing Digest page, combination of, you got the button here to click to watch the videos. You have my 36 proven winning overlay angles, my first book, time-tested angles that still work today, decades after they were discovered. And then all these other articles I've written over the years, all to help you understand how to use the reports. And basically that's all your job is. Use the reports. What's the odds near post time? Apply the proven strategies. Make your bet. And it's a little bit of a you have to be consistent, and you have to know where your focus is. Always have your focus in mind. And if you do hit, now here's a big one. If you do hit like you hit here in the second race at Hollywood, it's going to be very tempting to take that money and play the rest of the card at Hollywood. The laws of probabilities are against you from making another big score at Hollywood that day. Yes, it does happen. But you don't. One thing you want to make sure you do not do: if you hit a nice score in the second race, please don't give it back to them by the time the 8th race is done. A lot of players think because they make a big score that they can use that money, and they start throwing money in every direction because they don't view it as their money. It's track money, as far as they call it. It's not track money. It's money you earned. Put it in your left pocket, take a little bit out in your right pocket, and bet $2 a race. I bet $2 a race after I hit big. Walk away from a win. If you can walk away from a win, that's another element of bankroll management. Okay? Tune your bets down significantly, or walk away. Don't worry, there's going to be racing tomorrow. There's always going to be another track. There's always going to be another race. Don't worry about it. Go to another track at that point. See what's going on there. I'm just quoting you the odds of the basic odds of probabilities. It's simple common. It really is simple common sense. The odds of probabilities are really nothing more than a common sense, human brain thought up idea. It's not even an idea. It's a proven fact. It's a proven ideal is what it is. Okay, so we have to remember, because those are the only numbers we can control, is knowing what our advantages are and percentages, and being able to take action on a 15-to-1 shot, or if the horse was bet down to 5-to-1, to not take action, because I won't bet a value odds horse at 5-to-1. Defeats the purpose. Okay? Alright, I think this is a pretty good learning video. We'll go ahead and let you go on that. Thanks for viewing. Good luck with all your bets.